Okay, Shams Charania there. Now we're joined by Stephen Jackson, our NBA analyst. Happy 4th of July, number one, Stephen.
Same to you guys.
What do you make of this?
I just can't wait till Kawhi do an interview. I can't wait.
You know what? I can't either.
That's what
So much has been said for him, and I don't. And this is another part that I don't believe. He was drafted by a super team. He's been playing with a super team since he got in the NBA. He's Tony Parker, Ginobili, Tim Duncan. He won a championship with a super team. He was the MVP of the finals on a super team. I don't understand how they say he doesn't want to play with a super team. If you come to LeBron, it's a super team. You go to Philly, it's a super team. It's
Boston?
Anywhere you go, it's a super team. A lot of stuff's been made up.
I mean, unless
I
he
don't
goes
believe
by
it.
himself to the Clippers or to Charlotte or Orlando,
Yeah.
or I don't know.
Who does that?
And I don't think that would happen because they would have to give up so much, and they don't really have the bargaining tools to Charlotte doesn't. You know, so I don't see it happen. This is another made up situation with Kawhi because we've heard a lot of made up stuff this summer. You know, I've talked to him and heard stuff being made up, and he didn't say it, so I know a lot of stuff is not true.
Go ahead. You want to go? You want to go?
I do have to defend Shams Charania. Hard name to say, but he does a really good job. And he has been very competitive with Adrian Wojnarowski at ESPN. He's like, he'll break a couple to maybe the 5 that Woj bombs. And there's credibility here in his track record. So you're doubting the credibility of this report. But I'm pretty sure he's connected to somebody in Kawhi's inner circle because this isn't coming from outside. It's coming from inside Kawhi's inner circle. And I assume, though I don't know this for a fact, but I'm going to assume he's talking to the uncle who took over Kawhi's business and basketball affairs after Kawhi fired his agents. Now, I don't know if you've been in touch with Kawhi or texted with Kawhi recently, but the problem here is, as you well know, Kawhi can be a little bit of an odd duck, a weird dude, where he's just a little unknowable because he doesn't speak much to anybody, certainly publicly. And now, unfortunately, his uncle, I haven't seen one interview from the uncle, who seems to be dominating his affairs. So if he's the primary decision maker and he's gone radio silent, 0 dark 30 as you talk about with LeBron during the playoffs, then it's hard for anybody to know anything. And it's hurting Kawhi's stock because it's hard for these teams to know what he's thinking to the point, do you want to bet on that guy for 5 years?
Right.
Do you want to bet? Do you want to give up a bunch of your assets to get him in-house for a year and trust that he's going to sign for 5 more?
That's the bet.
Well, that's a hard one.
That's the biggest bet, Skip. Whether or not he can be healthy, you can find that shortly. But
I'll just throw that out.
Okay,
I'm going to assume he can be.
Okay. Are you willing to roll the dice and give up young talent and assets via draft picks for a guy you're not 1,000% certain is going to re-sign? Now, he strikes me as a lot different than Paul George. Kawhi seems to be a guy that once he makes his mind up, this is where he is. There is no swaying. And this is all I've been saying, Skip, when you and I were talking about this in the first segment. I just believe that these things are getting leaked because it's trying to put pressure on someone to do this deal, which would be a bad deal. I love Kawhi, but to give up Kuzma, Ingram, and 2 first-round picks, no chance.
No, but this information would discourage the Lakers from doing the deal, not encourage.
It would encourage him because they said if you don't do this deal, there's a chance you won't get him when it comes to be a free agent. There's no guarantee. So you better go ahead and make sure you get him now before he goes someplace else and maybe gets talked into staying, a la Paul George.
But the takeaway from Shams Charania's report, or what he told Colin Cowherd yesterday here on The Herd, was he's not interested. It's not personal toward LeBron, but he just doesn't want to join forces with another superstar on any stage. He doesn't want to form a super team. He just wants to go somewhere and be by himself.
But Shams undercuts his own.
The reason why I don't believe that is because I know Kawhi wants to win. I know he wants to be the best player. I don't think he wants to go into a situation where he's scoring all the points and losing. Right. I know he don't want to be in that type of situation. So that's why it's hard for me to believe that he don't want to go somewhere with other players and be great when all the other players in the league are doing that. I don't understand why he would go against the norm.
But, Skip, here's my point, is that where Shams undercuts his own argument. He just said, well, if Philly comes hard, that could be a doable deal. Well, that's a super team.
Okay,
super team.
but that would be the Spurs' choice, not Kawhi's choice.
But that's what
That's a one-year bet the ranch where you're
Yes.
going to have to hope that you can talk him into staying for 5 more.
My point is that someone with something to gain here, because see, I never thought the Clippers were in play. The Clippers
Well,
got.
I'd never even heard of the Clippers until this,
Yeah, exactly.
Only because they're in California.
or in Los Angeles.
Yeah, Los Angeles. That's the
The only reason they got Chris Paul was because David Stern vetoed the original trade to
the
go to the
Lakers.
Lakers.
Yes.
There's no way Chris Paul would have volunteered to come to the Clippers.
Right.
Okay, my thing is, Skip, is that someone is saying, okay, he might not want to be a part of a super team, but Philadelphia's appealing. Maybe the Celtics are appealing. If they got Kawhi, they would be a super team. But what he's doing by saying this, or somebody who's saying this to Sharpe, or whatever they're saying, well, Magic, if you don't go ahead and do this deal, he might get to Philly, like it, and you won't get him. He might get to Boston, like it, and you won't get him.
Because they would Paul George him. They
Right.
he would get more comfortable, and to the point he said, you know what, this is a great situation.
Right.
And he's familiar with Brett Brown and a lot of people in
is.
Philly, so
Yeah.
I can see that
So
happen.
that's my thing is he doesn't want to be a super team. If you go join Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons, people will consider that a super team because Kawhi is a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. He has a Finals on his resume, Finals MVP on his resume. You pair him with Kyrie. You pair him with Jason Tatum and Al Horford. What the hell is that? That's a super team.
Avengers.
Yeah. So it's hard for me to believe under that scenario because those are the 3 teams, Skip, that we all keep hearing about. We hear about Boston, we hear about the Lakers, we hear about the Sixers. And in any situation, wherever he goes, it's going to be considered a super team because who he's joining up with. That's my only thing.
Okay, just remember, I know you know him, I know you love him, and you like him. But there was some shift in Kawhi's psyche last year where the bridge got burned with the San Antonio Spurs. And it's hard to burn that bridge because that bridge has never been burned between the Spurs and any star who's ever played for them. This is a first.